check out the link in the description for more details. Hey guys, Jack here, hope you're all having a nice weekend. Today we've got a lot to cover, and what you're seeing in the background here is more standard issue rifles gameplay. I recorded this earlier today on my PC server, and I have to say it is absolutely fantastic to play BF1 like this with rifles only. And it's probably how some people expected the game to be when we didn't have many details about it. So the server itself has been full non-stop, it's always got a massive queue on it, and most of the people on there who I've spoken to say that they love it. Why? Well, I think it's really a nice change of pace to the game. It feels much more focused on team play and aiming your weapons accurately. It makes a big difference. Unfortunately, on PC there's around 15 custom servers at the moment running this. My server is pretty much the only one that's always full, and the others don't really get populated. I've had a load of console players tweet me as well and say, hey, can you host a console server with this rule set too? So there's definitely a demand for it there. The problem is, because it's a custom game mode, a player has to buy the server for it to be there. There are no official DICE hosted standard issue rifle servers, and I think that's a shame. Obviously a lot of people like this. I'd love to host more of these servers, but of course the cost adds up. I may actually make one more PC server and just run those two until we've got more options available. Ideally, I think it would be great if DICE went and made this a game mode rather than a custom rule set and hosted official servers for it. That would definitely be good for the console players too. It's just a really nice balance between hardcore, normal, and let's say a realism mode. And you know what, I love it. I found that the players on these servers too tend to be a lot more friendly and sociable, and they chat to each other. They've all got this common goal of wanting to play this particular game mode, and because of that the server is just generally a nice place to be. In fact, on my server a couple of days ago, some players just made up a minigame on the spot and built some World War I style trenches on each side of a field with limpet charges and explosives. They then coordinated together and did actual over-the-top charges at each other, which is just badass. And that's what you're seeing now. A couple of the players on the server were recording this, Danny on PC and High as a Kite, and it shows that BF1 players want to have experiences like this, and I've linked both of those full videos down in the description below as well if you want to see how it all played out in full. And if you want to jump on my standard issue rifle server on PC, just type Jack Frags in the filter or something like standard issue rifles and you're going to find it there. I implore you to give it a go. I do think you're going to enjoy it a lot. Moving on, cheeky bit of DLC teased for BF1. The first proper DLC for the game is titled They Shall Not Pass and focuses on the French army, and the official BF social media channels posted up this concept art a couple of days ago with the words "Be ready" in French, and we can see some French soldiers there in the blue uniforms fighting Germans in a very enclosed Operation Locker style environment. So I expect there's going to be at least one internal infantry only map perhaps in this DLC. The weapon the French soldier is carrying there is the Shosho light machine gun, and it's a weapon that I talked about that was likely to be added to the game in my DLC weapons video. A very unique and recognisable design. And also Flakfire Gaming, another YouTuber, has supposed that the location here is Fort Vaux, which was a defensive fort to the crucial city of Verdun, and this particular fort was privy to some very intense underground fighting during World War I because the French really wanted to hold on to it and the Germans wanted to capture it. Eventually the French surrendered the fort, and there's a fantastic story behind it, and Flakfire has actually done a video kind of detailing what happened there, and I've linked that down in the description too if you want to watch that. So usually a tease like this means that we're going to get a bigger announcement soon. Will it be before the new year? I guess probably not, and I'd also guess that we aren't going to see the first DLC released until late February or March, unfortunately, but only time will tell. So then, next, a topic I've wanted to talk about for a long time, but I've just never really got around to it. The medal and assignment system in BF1. I wonder, and this is a question to you, how many people who actively play BF1 right now bother with the medal system at all? In fact, I wonder how many people even know that it exists. I had a friend that had no idea the medal system was even in the game, and as such they haven't ever used it in over 100 hours of gameplay. And for me personally, I've never actively tracked a medal and got it myself. I don't think I even have any medals at all. Let's first talk about the elephant in the room though. Some of you will say, and it's definitely a valid argument, that you don't need medals, ribbons or assignments to enjoy a game. You've got the core gameplay there and you play it because you enjoy that and not because you've always got something to work towards and unlock. I'd say I'm like that as well, but there are plenty of players out there that love having the best of both worlds and working continuously towards unlocks, medals, assignments, skins, whatever it may be to keep their attention in the game. Some people just really like to have an objective outside of gameplay. It would be naive to think that it's not something players do and want when medals and ribbons have been an integral part of Battlefield since going back to Battlefield 2. It does also get you an XP boost for completing a medal, but maybe it needs a bit more incentive, and we're going to get onto that later. That being said, in BF1 the medals and assignment system is massively simplified and overhauled, and in my opinion not in a good way. Previously, in other BF games, you would work towards any medal or ribbon just by playing the game. That's no longer the case in BF1. Instead, in BF1 you get given 5 medals each week that you can work towards. You can pick one when loading into a game, but you can only work towards one of them at a time. That means that let's say you have a medal to get kills as support, and when you die and then you want to jump into a tank and you perhaps have another medal to work towards in a tank, if you don't press escape and change it, it won't actually track it, and those kills won't count, which is really annoying. In BF2 for instance, you had ribbons that you could work towards which were pretty simple, like let's say the infantry officer ribbon that only required 250 team points and to spend 25 minutes as a squad leader in a round. Easy to achieve, whereas the medals were a lot harder. The Medal of Valor, for example, required 250 total hours of playtime, as well as 5,000 driver points, 1,000 flag defense points and 30,000 team points. It was something for the long term that took a long time to work towards, but when you got it finally, it felt pretty good, and almost a badge of honour for players who had played the game for a long time. And I get that that's not everyone's cup of tea, and it's meaningless to a lot of people, but I knew players that would spend a lot of time working towards medals and ribbons, and what was just way better back then is that you would be working towards multiple at the same time without having to pick a specific one. Not to mention that in BF1 you get given 5 medals, perhaps ones that you don't even care about. You may even get a medal asking you to get plane kills but you hate flying, or tank kills but hate playing in vehicles. The choice of how you play the game and how you work towards your own achievements has been removed from BF1, and that's not a good thing in my opinion. BF4 had a pretty good system in there, I think. It had a ribbon system where you had specific requirements to get them, and when you got to a certain amount of those ribbons, you received the medal for that ribbon. As well as that, you've got assignments that you need to complete, some of which get you specific dog tags, skins, even progress towards the Phantom program, and none of the above is now present. I would love to see assignments and ribbons make a comeback, but I personally would also make it so that you can work towards any medal or ribbon you want just by playing the game, like it always used to be. Some may say that they prefer it this way, forcing you to perhaps try different kits or vehicles that you wouldn't before. Well, unfortunately, I don't think that's true, because there's very little reward for doing a medal at the moment. If you wanted that to be the case, then you'd need to ensure that they had more reward there, so skins, battle packs, that sort of thing, that gives people the incentive and it's stuff that people actually want. And I've heard from Twitter conversations that there is a possibility down the line that DICE may make it so that you work towards all 5 weekly medals at the same time, but you simply track the one that you're focused on. I do think that would be an improvement on the system we have at the moment, but I don't think it would make the system overall better. I think it needs a complete overhaul, in my opinion. Honestly, I think the system they had in BF4 worked fine, and I'm not really sure it needed to be simplified as much as it has been, and now people just don't really seem to care about it that much. Either way, do let me know your thoughts on the medal and assignment system in the comments down below. I'm sure there's a genius out there who can come up with the best of both worlds. Once again guys, if you want to check out my standard issue rifle server, just filter in the server browser JackFrag's standard issue rifles, and like I said, I probably will be adding a second 64 player server because the demand for the first one is pretty high at the time, and I know that a lot of people have been queuing to get on and maybe haven't had a chance to experience that gameplay yet, so I will be getting on that. And also maybe, if enough console players actually would use it, do like a 64 player console server as well. Just before we finish, I've had a lot of you guys asking me for my review of Rogue One for some reason. I'm not going to do a full video on that because I'm not really a movie review channel, but I do watch a lot of films and I'm a big movie goer, I suppose you could say. Rogue One, I will say that I went to see the movie and I thought it was a very good Star Wars film. The first act is a bit messy, jumps around too quickly, and it has to introduce all of these new characters as quickly as possible, but the middle and the end are fantastic and excellent performances from the lead actors. So many Easter eggs in there. The space battles were phenomenal. It has a very grown-up, dark and gritty tone throughout the film, and it's got one particular scene at the end, you'll know it when you see it, where I just couldn't stop smiling and people were actually clapping after it happened, which you don't really ever see in the UK at cinemas. It was just that awesome. So there we have it. That's all for today, guys. I hope you had a nice weekend once again. If you enjoyed